guys, this is Sean again, back again with All Things Black. I have a new friend here.
Hey.
Hey, this is Dominique. Dominique, would you like to tell me anything about yourself?
All right. AC, Kansas City, Missouri, and just check me out on my Instagram at Heynique,
Okay.
HEYNIKE.
Okay, and we'll drop your link under there, your Instagram. Okay, Dominique, what does the word colorism mean to you?
Colorism is basically when you discriminate against a certain skin shade. Um, Most of the time, it's a darker skin shade. I mean, just basically like racism, skin color.
Yeah. Okay. What do you believe are some examples of colorism?
Examples of color. Um, the whole industry's
Mm-hmm.
beauty. So usually you see magazines, you see the top 100 beautiful people in the world, and usually they're people of lighter skin tones or people, people of lighter skin, and you just see in the media all the pretty girls, they're the lighter skin tone, or all the girls who uh, end up with the I don't know, the better love story or whatever. They're
Mm-hmm.
usually lighter skin tone girls, and like the girls who are portrayed as negative or evil or backstabbing,
Aggressive.
something like that. It's usually a darker skin tone girl or ghetto. That's
Yep.
usually the main one.
Okay. Good answer. Okay. I mean, I feel like this next question you literally just answered. It was what role does traditional media play in promoting color and stereotypes? So I feel like from what you just said, it's having the dark skinned girls as seen as ghetto, having the light skinned women are like the objects of affection and
Yeah.
seen as beautiful. So I feel like we covered that one.
Hmm.
What role do you believe colorism plays in dating and marriage?
And dating and marriage.
Hmm.
Um, you look at black TV shows from like I guess the '90s. They were the more popular ones. More popular now, like Martin, It's a Different World, and things like that. You see, the main characters are usually a lighter skinned woman with a dark skinned man, and that image just kind of like trickled into like our community where black men usually see the lighter fair skin tone women as beautiful, and I also think that comes back from when we were slaves.
Right.
So the field slaves were usually the darker skinned people, and the house slaves, which were considered the prettier slaves, were inside the house, serving the people inside. um, I lost what the question was.
Uh, it's okay. Um, what role do you believe colorism plays in dating and marriage?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
basically
Yeah.
the fair tone are usually seen as the wife material, and
Yeah.
dark skinned women are usually side chicks or just a fling or just a hookup or something like that. And I don't really know where it comes from, but like most people see darker skinned women as like easy or thottish, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But and honestly, I don't really see where that comes from because like everyone has their own like love
Right.
story. So that's the image that we got.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. What do you believe is the difference between colorism and preference?
So the difference between colorism and preference. Um,
Is there a difference?
yeah, there's a difference for sure. Um, I think when you have a preference, you still respect your own race. So like I'm thinking of black men dating outside of their race. Usually when a black man dates outside his race, or when he has a preference, he still respects the black woman. But when he has when what was the other one? Preference or
Colorism.
when it's just straight up colorism, he's disrespectful to the black woman. He says that I don't date black women because they're ghetto, they're ratchet, blah blah blah, because of one girl that he's probably met in his lifetime, and he just put us all in this category. and that's basically colorism because you're just using that one person for the whole general population of darker skin tone women or black women as a whole. Um, so I say the difference between preference and colorism is when you still have the respect for that group of people versus um, you just being ignorant and just choosing the other race because of no apparent reason.
So what about when it's within our community, like men
So
who,
like
yeah,
black women,
hmm
um, I think it still goes the same way. So like
yeah,
maybe not a race, like maybe not respect as a whole within race, but respect towards black women or darker skinned women. So I
okay,
would say the same answer.
okay, all right. How do you believe gender intersects with colorism? Do you think it's different for men and women? Yeah.
So I was looking. What was I looking at? I was looking at something on social media, and they were talking about how what was that comedian's name? I forgot her name. Tasha.
Oh, you talking about you talking about
She was in that recent movie.
you talking about the She Ready girl?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Um, yeah. Oh, Tiffany Haddish.
Tiffany Haddish. Yeah. So I was just reading something how they were saying her like comedy act it gets uh it gets critiqued harsher than other comedians, and she basically does the same thing as most other comedians. And I think it's because she's a black woman
Mhm.
and she's a woman of darker skin tone that her her talent or whatever is deemed as less of
Yeah,
versus like Kevin Hart or Bernie Mac or like all these other dark skinned male comedians.
right.
And like if you just look at the darker skin women comedians, what's that other one with the short hair? She's very tall. I can't remember her name.
Mm,
But there's another dark skinned woman comedian. She's very underrated, and I feel like the only reason she's underrated is because of her skin tone. I mean, I feel like she's probably one of the funniest comedians. I can't remember her name, but like it's just um, women as a whole. Like that's why there is the feminist movement. Women
right.
as a whole have has always been under men. So the fact that we're black women as a whole and the
Yeah.
fact that we're black and the fact that we're women, those are two negative
Double negative.
that, hmm that puts us down.
Okay. Um. Okay. Do you believe that colorism is institutionalized? Do you think it affects like jobs, socioeconomic status, prison sentences, etc.?
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
Another story. This woman, she paid a college, she paid Harvard. Uh,
Um.
to,
Mhm.
not the woman from I think Fuller House or Full House.
Yeah.
She paid for her daughter to get into school, or she paid to fix her SAT scores to get into that school, and she got away with 14 days in jail.
Yeah.
Versus a black woman who did this, I want to say maybe a couple years ago,
Yeah.
or
With the school district.
and
My
she
sister just
just
said
she
something about
decided out her location so her son can get into a
a
better
better
school,
school.
and she got what was it 5 years
Yeah.
in
She
jail.
got out. Hmm.
So that's like a prime example right there.
Yeah.
The government, the just how everything is set up. It was never set up for us in the beginning. If you just think about laws when they were made at that time, so it's like laws in the United States solely was just built on keeping us down, and it was built with people who had the mindset that black people are just slaves and slaves only. So it it only makes sense that this country wasn't built for us, if that makes sense.
No, it does make sense. Okay. Do you have any personal experiences with colorism?
Yeah, I'm a dancer. So I do all kinds of dancing. I do hip hop, ballet, lyrical, all that stuff. So being in a dancer the typical
Hey,
dancer
you
is
breaking up?
usually
I'm sorry, you breaking
skinny
up.
white ballet.
Sorry, I didn't hear anything you said.
Nothing.
No, you said I heard being a
Can you hear
dancer.
me?
I heard being a dancer, and then that was it.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. So I was saying, being a dancer, the typical dancer is usually a skinny white girl, and that's just the role. So being a black dancer with curves and not like the skinny frame, it's really hard growing up into it. And also on top of that, the dancers world, like your look is everything. I go to auditions. We get put into groups. They say all the blonde girls over here, all the brunettes over here, all the black girls over here, and all the Hispanics over here. And you can get cut just based off your looks. So like if you're not the right look, you can get cut, and it doesn't matter how long you've been dancing or how many years you've been putting in this hard work or whatever. You can just get cut by walking in and being the wrong look. So that's been very hard. And on top of that, the dance world, they favor um, lighter skin tone, mixed girls. They favor pretty girls who are mixed and lighter skin tones. And I was just talking to this with my little sister the other day because she's a dancer as well, and it's just very apparent that um, the industry, the dance industry, just doesn't care. There's so many dancers out in LA famous just because they're pretty. There are Instagrammers right now who has like millions of followers that are just starting to dance, and they're getting these like dance jobs, and they're doing these dance videos with like these dancers who've been dancing for decades, and they're getting like all these like special things that most dancers should get when most dancers should work hard for. So they're getting all these special things just because they have the followers or they're because they're pretty. So it just sucks being in this situation. And it's like I wouldn't just say it's just in the dance world, it's basically everywhere. So I don't know, just you have to be pretty and you have to be fair tone to get far in this world, which sucks. And it's not the truth, but it's just like it's what's happening. Ooh, it's what's happening right now. So
Yeah, I mean it's the truth.
yeah.
Okay, all right. Thank you for sharing that. So our last two questions are kind of together. What are some of your personal experience? Oh, that's the one I just asked you. I'm sorry. Who is responsible for breaking the cycle of colorism, and do you think it'll ever end?
On Spoon. Um, I was saying it would be the people. Um, I mean, back to slavery, white people wanted to get into our mindset. They wanted to not just like destroy us physically, but destroy us mentally by putting us into certain neighborhoods, limiting our resources and stuff like that with our schooling and just setting up our worlds and our lives so that we're not able to succeed in America or in the world. So I think they planted the seed, but we kept it going with our
Yeah,
mindset. So I
right.
think it should just start with us and just like it should be, it should start with Black people breaking this cycle and just I don't think white people should be responsible for well actually let me take that. I think it should start with Black people and I think everyone else should learn from it as well. So I think it started back in slavery and then we kept it going, and we
Yeah.
should be the ones to break it.
Do you think it'll ever end?
Do I think it'll um just like racism is still going on. It's very apparent nowadays. So I don't think it'll ever end because people as a whole don't like change. So I don't think it will. completely be gone. Um, like racist, it didn't end. It just went under the radar. So I think it's still gonna be. Um, I think it's still happening. It just takes everyone to be willing to do it, and I don't think everyone's gonna be willing to do it because people are stubborn.
Right. Or they don't see it.
Mm-hmm. Or they're ignorant. Yeah.
All right, Dominique. Well, that was all of my questions. I appreciate you coming here and talking with me. Okay. All right, this is Sean again. We're going to wrap it up with All Things Black. Thank you again for visiting with us, Dominique.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.